Everything you think about yourself is constantly changing. Your body is also constantly changing. Eventually, your body will die. It's inevitable. All of these things are impermanent. Your body is constantly changing. The environment around you is also always changing. Everything is constantly changing. If you expect everything will stay the same, you're doomed. You need to constantly adapt just to survive. If you cling to your ideas about yourself and the way the world is, you're just going to cause yourself unnecessary suffering. Everything physical in nature is changing and inherently impermanent. So, if you want to understand the true nature of reality, you need to keep your mind clear. If you want to understand the true nature of everything and how it relates to you, first you must understand yourself. This means you have to understand your mind. To truly understand your mind, you have to keep your mind, thinking, and actions clear. When you truly understand your mind, your purpose in life will be clear. Then the actions you need to take to fulfill your purpose in each moment will be clear. My hope for today's class is that you can grasp what I'm pointing you towards. However, an intellectual understanding of my words won't be enough. You need to understand your mind through your own direct experience. Only then will you truly understand what I'm talking about. The mind transcends words. The mind is the origin of words. So in that sense, it supersedes all the words and can't be described by them. Words are symbols that point you to something, but they're not the thing. When I say the word mind, I'm trying to point you to the foundation of your being. The words I use to describe the mind are not the mind. The words are like a map, but they're not the destination. The best thing they can do is point you in the right direction, but you have to figure out how to read the map and navigate yourself to get there. The best that I can do to advise you on how to apply this information about your mind to your own life is to offer you this metaphor. The mind reflects everything that comes in front of it like a mirror. When your mind is clear, it reflects everything perfectly. However, everything that comes in front of your mind leaves traces of dust on the mirror. That dust is karma. The dust interferes with your view of reality. Your thoughts are reflections of this dust. Your entire identity is composed of thoughts about who you are. These thoughts about yourself come from traces of dust that previous versions of yourself left on the mirror. The dust also comes from other people, the environment, our culture, and society. Your thoughts about yourself and the world are just a reflection of all this dust that is collected on the mirror. In order to understand the true nature of reality and the true nature of who you are, you need to clear off all of that dust, every single speck. When you become attached to your thoughts about yourself and the world, it's like putting a sticky film on the surface of the mirror. Then the mirror gets completely covered in dust. These attachments can give the false impression that the things stuck to the mirror are part of the reality that's not changing. The more you cling to these thoughts, the more dust that gathers on the mirror. The dust can get so thick that it's all that gets reflected. over time, we can convince ourselves into believing that this distorted view of reality through the dust is reality. This becomes an unexamined and unquestioned assumption that leads us to think we know more about our reality than we actually do. Understanding the world and how things work is incredibly useful in life. Believing that you understand how things work can also be an immense source of comfort, even if your belief is the result of a delusion that's caused by a clouded view of reality. Our ego and opinions form around our beliefs and are a result of an attachment to this clouded worldview and these tainted perceptions of ourselves. Many people find comfort in the illusion that things are stable and they know how things work. However, this type of delusion is ultimately the source of all of our suffering. If you don't recognize that everything is constantly changing and that you need to constantly adapt to these changes, then you'll inevitably suffer. When we don't recognize that all of our suffering is the result of this delusion, we allow ourselves to cling to the delusions that bring us comfort, and we fear the things that contradict our worldview. Our ego resists the idea of cleaning off the mirror because it fears the unknown. It becomes comfortable for us to suffer what we know, and the uncertainty of what is under the dust brings about fear. Our ego convinces us that what is under the dust could potentially be a source of even more discomfort and distress. Ultimately, you have to decide if it's better for you to face the truth or bury your head in the dust. If you're already suffering, it might actually be easier for you to face the truth. You might look forward to the change in perception that clearing away the dust would provide. However, if things are really good and comfortable for you right now, you might think everything is perfect and you don't need to change anything. If you feel that way, that's fine. Just remember this talk. You might need it in the future. The only thing that's certain is that everything is impermanent, even the dust. The things that you think are stable and comfortable now are absolutely certain to change. Eventually, you and all the people you know and care about will die. What then? If you recognize that everything in front of the mirror is destined to change and you don't cling to what's in front of the mirror, then you'll realize there's no reason to suffer when everything changes. When you completely clear off the mirror, you recognize that your mind is the mirror. When you realize your mind is the mirror and the mirror never changes, there's no longer anything to fear. So, how do you clear the mirror? One thing you can do is the type of sitting meditation we did at the beginning of class. Learning to focus your mind on a mantra can help you clear your mind of the thoughts. If you practice a little bit every day, you can develop a routine to help you keep your mind clear every day. But you can't just sit still all day and meditate. You have to live your life. In a Zen temple, they have all types of meditative routines and rituals that are built into the schedule to help you keep your mind clear. Usually this includes bowing and chanting, as well as a number of meditation sessions throughout the day. They often also have a lot of rules and specific ways of doing things, which force you to be mindful of everything you're doing. Ultimately, the purpose of all of these rules, rituals, and routines is to make you focus your mind on everything you're doing throughout the day. However, you don't have to move into a temple to do any of this. You can meditate a little bit on your own every day. You can also practice turning your actions into meditation. This means you have to learn how to focus on whatever you're doing as if it's your mantra. A good way to practice this is by starting with some type of activity that you enjoy and trying to stay completely focused on what you're doing. It could be a form of exercise or an art form or even the work you do at your job. Just practice staying completely focused on whatever you're doing without letting your mind wander. If you notice your mind wandering, just try to push out whatever you're thinking about and return to focusing on whatever you're doing. We host various classes and workshops here every month to practice this type of moving meditation together, but you can also practice this on your own. After you've been practicing this for a while, it's possible to reach a state where your actions flow through you without thinking. I'm guessing most of you have felt this flow state at some point in your life, but maybe you didn't think about it as meditation. If you continually practice doing this, it's possible to reach a meditative flow state in everything you do. Even eating, washing your dishes, or cleaning your room. This is exactly what they're trying to teach you in a Zen temple, in a very formal way. But as I said, you don't need to move into a temple to do this. You just need to learn how to focus your mind on whatever you're doing, wherever you are. If you can do this, it's better than living in a temple. If you can learn to focus 100% on each moment, no matter where you are and no matter what you're doing, that will turn everything you do into a meditation. Doing that is more important than anything else I can ever tell you. If you constantly clear off the mirror of your mind, then it will always reflect the truth. Concentrated focus on every moment means no dust can cling to the mirror. A 100% clear mirror can accurately reflect everything in front of it, infinitely, in all directions. This expansive awareness is what we call enlightenment. To get to this point, just keep practicing sitting and moving meditation, and eventually you can teach yourself how to stay focused on each moment. Over time, your awareness will grow. But don't allow yourself to get complacent until all the dust is gone. The last few specks of dust are the hardest to get off. But when the mirror is completely clear, you'll realize that everything you're perceiving is just reflections in a mirror that had been covered by dust. When you clear all of this dust off, you'll only see the reflection of your mind in everything. But don't take my word for it and believe what I say. This metaphor is just meant to inspire you to experience this for yourself. Try to clear the dust off the mirror a little bit every day until you can see this for yourself. I hope that someday you'll all find clarity in your own mind, and I wish you all good fortune on this journey.